Hey guys, so it's been about 3 weeks since my last video where we actually did all the milling and stacked it up here. Since then I've done some research. We kind of figured a little bit of this out, and seasoning time, so the time for the timber to dry out, varies greatly across your climate, your time of year, type of timber, the condition the timber was in before you slabbed it. But like a really rough general rule for seasoning times for timber is apparently 1 year per inch of slab. So of course these guys here, these are 50mm 2-inch slabs, so I'm not going to be making anything with these anytime soon. And of course this big guy on top we'll need more time again. So that's alright. So we're going to put that guy on hold. So in the meantime, what I've done is I've looked online, found a local arborist who had lots of stuff, but I picked up off him this guy. So it's an American pine, thicker slab than what I've done. He's done a much nicer job of the cutting than I did, of course, because he knows what he's doing. So the idea being, I'm going to try and make a couple little coffee tables out of this, get a little bit of my investment back from all the gear I've bought, and that'll keep me busy in the meantime anyway. And he's got some other slabs I'd like to go and pick up off him as well if I get the chance, if these guys go okay. So let's get into it. Alright, so this is it. This is the slab I picked up. It's seasoned, ready to go. Should be a bit of fun. It's a softwood. I'm pretty sure an American pine. The guy I bought it off had all the legit names, but I don't remember. So the idea is to cut this guy essentially in half, and make 2 coffee tables out of it. One I'll process, I'll cut off the edges, dress it and make it beautiful, and the other I might leave live edge. So essentially this wider chunk I'll process, so I'm dress the edges square and make it nice and beautiful, and this narrower edge up the far end where it's got a bit more character, I'll leave that. I'll do one of each and kind of see which turns out better. Here's the thing that's a bit puzzling for some of you guys. Now of course when I cut this slab in half, I'm going to want to cut it square to the length of the slab, which might not be easy because there's no reference edges to work off here. So here's how we sort that out. Measure both ends. This guy 635. Put a mark in the middle. This guy 490. Put a mark in the middle. We'll use a chalk line, we'll ping that out, and that will be our reference line for all of our cuts now. this way, all we got to do is come square off that chalk line. Problem solved. Alright, so now we've got our reference marks, a mark across here. What I've done is I've used this old level to set up a straight edge. And I'll just make my cut perfectly straight without even really having to try. And the simple way to do that is simply measure from the edge of the guard of your saw to the edge of the blade and offset your straight edge that distance, and then you can just push the saw against that, zoom straight through, straight as an arrow, no dramas. Other thing I've done is I've of course clamped a piece of timber to the bench as it overhangs the bench so I can cut, and then under this piece I've just kind of put a 3-foot ladder to help catch. We'll see what happens. I'm going to take it slow. But like, the worst thing that can happen is that as I get towards the end of the cut, it could be a massive amount of breakout if I don't support the offcut properly. So you might even find I'll get most of the way through, and then I might try and change things up a bit so that the offcut's better supported. We'll just run it and find out, eh? So next step now is just to use the same reference line to mark out the other 3 edges. We'll cut them, and then we can start working towards making this guy flat, which I imagine will take a lot of sanding because I don't have any kind of CNC machine to do this with. One day. Alright, so this is my first long edge cut done, and immediately you can kind of see the downside to processing a slab is you do lose, to get that square edge, you lose a lot of material because the narrow end of the slab was up here. We lost a good 40 mil down there, and it'll be more on the other side just because of the shape. But that's alright, we'll still have a really nice size slab. Alright, here we are, a process slab there for that first coffee table. So of course on the next one I won't do any of that, I'm going to leave it live edge. That other one's got a bit more shape to it and character, and being the narrow end of the slab you kind of want to keep as much of that surface area as you can. So I'm going to leave that one for now though and just keep working on this guy. So our next step is, this will probably be our underside face, I think. I mean, you can choose whatever side you like. Both sides have kind of got a nice big knot in the middle there. But essentially I'll process both sides and I'll just choose the prettiest grain to be the top side. But at this stage I think this will be the underside. And so I'll start here with the level, trying to get this as flat as possible. So the way we're going to start with that is literally just, again with a straight edge, put it on, you look down it, and what we'll do is we're going to use our pencil to just mark out any like visible high spots. I'm going to go get the belt sander on them, knock them down, check it again, knock them down, check it again, and you'll go this way, we'll go this way, we'll check some diagonals, you'll have it and use it in like an arcing motion, and then when it's flat at all points, then you know you're not going to have a little rocky table. Alright, I've had to switch to the phone because GoPro died. It's the next day. I've belt sanded now all the sides of this bit of timber. So now we're gonna switch to the random orbital sander, go to, I think it's 240 or 180 grit discs I've got, and then after that 1000 grit discs. That should give it a nice finish. Then we'll finish the slab, throw our legs on, just done. So have a quick look now. It's kind of hard to tell because of the way the light is, but not looking too bad. Yeah, I'll show you again once she's sanded up and again after she's finished. Beautiful.